Ever thought about like a totally radical career shift?
Oh, yeah?
Like trading in your spreadsheets for a sculpting tool
Yeah.
or like your PowerPoint presentations for a paintbrush?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into the story of Maxime Schilde.
Okay.
He's a concept artist who did exactly that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we've got excerpts from his interview with Albin Prevost
Okay.
for Ganakel News.
Cool.
And Maxime's journey is full of twists and turns.
I bet. It really is.
So what's fascinating is that he spent 8 years in architectural visualization before jumping into concept art
Wow.
for video games and film.
That's not typical at all.
No, not at all.
So we'll unpack how he went from designing buildings to crafting characters and environments for games like Far Cry 6.
Wow.
And even working with big names like Ubisoft.
That's awesome.
But like more importantly, I think
Yeah.
we'll uncover the lessons he learned along the way.
Right.
Especially about the power of community and continuous learning.
Which I think are relevant to anyone, regardless of their field.
Absolutely. And we'll also delve into like the behind the scenes realities
Okay.
of working with those infamous NDAs.
Yeah.
The ones that make artists' portfolios feel invisible.
Right, like you can't share any of your work.
Exactly.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Maxime's passion for video games goes way back.
I bet.
He even pursued a 3D art education with that dream in mind.
Wow.
But life, as it often does, had other plans.
Right. That training led him to a job in architectural visualization,
Okay.
which he initially saw as a temporary gig,
Mm-hmm.
but he ended up staying for 8 years.
8 years. 8 years. I'm sensing a but coming.
Okay.
Was he miserable?
Not at all.
Okay.
He actually honed some valuable skills during that time,
Okay.
like 3D modeling, texturing, client
Yeah.
communication,
Uh-huh.
even project management.
Right.
Those are all transferable skills that would later serve him well in concept art.
So it wasn't a complete detour, more like a scenic route.
Exactly.
But why the change after being comfortable for so long?
Well, think about it. You're good at your job,
Okay.
but you have this like nagging feeling that something's missing.
Mm.
That's what Maxime experienced.
Right.
He felt creatively stifled
Right.
and realized that the spark for video games had never truly died.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of being stuck in a rut,
Oh, yeah,
even if it's a comfortable one.
definitely.
So how did he reconnect with his passion for concept art?
It's funny how inspiration can strike.
Yeah.
For Maxime, it was art books.
Okay.
He was blown away by those for games like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
The way concept artists build entire worlds,
Right.
tell stories through visuals,
Uh-huh.
it just clicked for him.
I get it. Concept art is like the visual foundation for a game or film. It sets the mood,
Yeah.
designs the characters,
Right.
creates a whole visual language.
It
It's
would-
way more than just pretty pictures.
Exactly. And that was Maxine's aha moment. He started devouring online resources like Design Spartan
Cool.
and studying the work of digital painting masters like Craig Mullins.
Wow.
And that's when he started getting serious about digital painting
Okay.
and photo bashing techniques.
So he was learning on his own,
Yeah,
but I imagine there's only so much you can do solo.
right.
Did he have any mentors or a support system?
This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Joining Digital Painting School,
Mm-hmm.
or DPS,
Okay.
was a game changer.
Okay.
Not just for the structured learning,
Right.
but because it introduced him to a vibrant community of like-minded artists.
I bet that community aspect was crucial,
Oh,
especially when you're trying to break into a competitive field like concept art.
Definitely.
Did he talk about that at all?
He did.
Okay.
And he emphasized how vital it was to have that space
Yeah.
for constructive feedback
Mm-hmm.
and encouragement.
Right.
Imagine a bunch of passionate artists
Yeah.
pushing each other,
Yeah.
sharing tips,
Mm-hmm.
celebrating wins,
Right.
and offering support during those inevitable moments of self-doubt.
Right.
That kind of community can make all the difference.
It's like that African proverb. If
Okay.
you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I like that.
It makes sense, especially in a field where it's easy to feel isolated.
Yeah, definitely.
So did this
I-
community help him gain recognition?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about him being bold?
Yes.
Well, Maxime won 3rd place in a DPS contest
Wow.
with a gory Spider-Man design.
Whoa. I'm picturing something pretty intense.
Yeah.
He clearly wasn't afraid to take risks.
No, he wasn't.
Did this win open any doors for him?
It was a huge confidence boost.
Okay.
Plus, it got his work noticed. That early success really validated his decision to pursue concept art professionally.
So winning contests is one thing.
Right.
But how do you go from there to building a professional portfolio?
Good point. It's like that classic chicken and egg problem.
Right.
You need experience to get hired.
Yeah.
But you need to get hired to get experience.
Exactly. So what did Maxime do?
He didn't rest on his laurels.
Okay.
Maxime kept pushing himself, taking on DPS challenges, personal projects, and constantly studying the work of other artists.
Right.
And you know what?
What?
One of his personal projects even caught the eye of Gaetan Welser.
Wow.
The founder of DPS himself.
Getting noticed by someone you admire, that's got to be a huge motivator.
Huge.
So what was this project that impressed Gaetan?
It was Maxime's reimagining of Leonardus, the DPS mascot, as a character from Frozen.
Talk about creative thinking.
Oh, I know, right?
He clearly wasn't afraid to combine different styles and have fun with it.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So his skills were getting sharper. His confidence was growing.
Yeah.
But when did he land his first real freelance gigs?
His first major project was a bit unexpected.
Okay.
He landed a gig creating illustrations for an escape room in Nantes, France.
Talk about a departure from architectural visualization.
I know.
Designing for an escape room must require a whole different set of creative muscles.
It does.
Were his 3D skills useful at all, or was this purely illustration work?
He didn't go into detail in the interview.
Okay.
But I imagine his spatial reasoning and
Yeah.
understanding of composition from his architectural background came in handy.
Right?
Plus, escape rooms are all about storytelling,
Yeah.
which is a key element of concept art.
So he's designing escape rooms,
Yeah.
honing his storytelling skills.
Yeah.
What came next?
He landed a contract with Lune Rouge in Montreal,
Okay.
designing visuals for a multimedia show about the creation of life.
Wow, from escape rooms to the creation of life.
I know, right?
He's certainly not afraid to tackle big ideas.
Nope.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Okay.
He's constantly pushing himself creatively
Yes.
and exploring new territories.
Definitely.
It seems like all these experiences were building up to something bigger.
You're right. And that leads us to what I'd call his breakthrough project.
Okay.
It was his reimagining of Asterix and Obelix.
Okay.
But get this, in the style of Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas.
Wait, Asterix and Obelix as GTA characters?
Yes.
Okay, now I need to see this.
I know.
Did he talk about his process at all?
This project really pushed him to incorporate more complex characters and storytelling into his work.
Right.
He even started using new software like DAZ Studio for character creation
Okay.
and Marvelous Designer for clothing simulation.
So he was leveling up his technical skills?
Yeah.
Along with his storytelling abilities.
Definitely.
And of course he had that community support to keep him going.
Exactly. And this project wasn't just a personal challenge.
Okay.
He actually won first place in a DPS contest with it.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
So he's winning contests, landing gigs,
Yeah.
and mastering new software. Sounds like he was finally hitting his stride as a concept artist. But did he ever get to work on those big video game projects he always dreamed of?
He did, but before we jump into that,
Okay.
there's something else I want to mention that he talked about in the interview.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What is it?
He talked about how when he was first starting out,
Okay.
he actually reached out to a concept artist he really admired for advice.
That's interesting. So even with all his talent and drive, he still saw the value in seeking guidance from someone more experienced?
He did.
Did he share who this artist was?
Yeah, it was. He did. It was Feng Zhu.
Feng Zhu?
Yeah.
Wow.
A renowned concept artist
Yeah.
who's worked on films like Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith,
Wow.
and Transformers.
I bet getting advice from someone of that caliber was invaluable.
It was.
What did Feng Zhu tell him?
Well, this part really resonated with me
Okay.
because it speaks to the importance of being proactive
Right.
and seeking out mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Maxime emailed Feng Zhu expressing his admiration for his work and asking for advice on breaking into the industry.
So brave.
And you know what Feng Zhu actually replied?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I bet that meant the world to Maxime,
It did.
especially at a time when he was just starting out.
Yeah.
So what did he say?
Feng Zhu encouraged him to focus on developing his fundamental skills,
Okay.
to be persistent, and to never stop learning.
Right.
He even emphasized the importance of having a strong online presence.
Which is something that's even more crucial today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show that even the most successful artists were once in those same shoes.
Right.
Figuring things out and seeking guidance.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see that kind of generosity and willingness to help others.
It is.
And I think it speaks volumes about the concept art community as a whole.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of camaraderie and support.
Definitely.
Which is something Maxime experienced firsthand through DPS.
Right. Remember how we talked about him?
Yeah.
The importance of community?
Yes, exactly.
It sounds like that support network was essential throughout his journey.
For sure. But let's not forget about Maxime's own determination.
Oh, yeah.
And willingness to put in the work.
Right. He didn't just wait for opportunities to fall into his lap.
No.
He actively sought them out. Whether it was entering contests, taking on freelance gigs, or reaching out to established artists for advice.
He clearly wasn't afraid to hustle.
No, he wasn't.
And it sounds like all that hard work eventually paid off.
It did.
You mentioned earlier that he did get to work on some big video game projects.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
He's worked on projects for Ubisoft.
No way.
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Including marketing materials for Far Cry 6.
Wow.
And the trailer for the Curieux Motorfest.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Did he share any insights about what it was like working on this project?
Well, remember those NDAs we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that make concept artists' portfolios feel invisible. Unfortunately, he couldn't go into too much detail about the actual work itself.
Ah, right. The invisible portfolio problem.
Exactly.
I bet that's frustrating knowing you have all this amazing work under your belt.
Yeah.
But not being able to shout about it from the rooftops.
It is, but Maxime did highlight something really important about working with big companies like Ubisoft.
Okay, what's that?
He emphasized the importance of being professional,
Okay.
reliable, and meeting deadlines.
I bet that goes a long way in any industry.
Yeah,
But especially in the fast-paced world of video game development.
definitely. And he also talked about the importance of being a team player and being open to feedback.
Right.
Remember, concept art is often a collaborative process.
Yes.
And you need to be able to work effectively with other artists, designers, and directors.
So it's not just about raw talent. It's also about having strong communication and collaboration skills.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
But let's be honest, working with big names like Ubisoft has to be a dream come true.
Oh, yeah?
For any aspiring concept artist.
For sure.
Did he talk about how he landed those gigs?
He did, and you might be surprised to hear that it wasn't just his portfolio that got him those opportunities.
Oh, yeah. What else played a role?
Remember how we talked about the importance of networking and community?
Yes.
Well, it turns out that some of his freelance gigs came through recommendations from other artists he'd met through DPS and other online communities.
That's amazing. It just reinforces how valuable those connections can be.
It does, and it highlights something that's often overlooked.
Okay.
The importance of building genuine relationships with other artists.
Right.
It's not just about exchanging business cards
Yeah.
or adding each other on LinkedIn.
Right.
It's about supporting each other,
Yeah.
sharing knowledge, and celebrating each other's successes.
I love that it's about creating a community where everyone can thrive. And it sounds like Maxime embraced that philosophy throughout his journey.
He did, and you know what?
Right.
That generosity of spirit seems to extend beyond the art world.
Oh, okay. In what way?
Maxime also talked about the importance of giving back
Okay.
and using his skills for good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Did he mention any specific projects or causes he's passionate about?
He did. He's actually involved with an organization that uses art therapy
Wow.
to help children cope with trauma.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't go into too much detail in the interview,
Okay.
but he mentioned how rewarding it is
Yeah.
to use his artistic talents to make a positive impact
Right.
on young lives.
That's so inspiring.
It is.
It's a good reminder that creativity can be a powerful tool for healing and connection.
Yeah.
It's not always about landing those big budget gigs
Right.
or creating work for a massive audience.
Exactly.
Sometimes the most meaningful work happens on a smaller, more personal scale.
Exactly. And it speaks to Maxime's overall philosophy,
Okay.
which seems to be about using his art to connect with people, whether it's through storytelling,
Right.
creating immersive experiences,
Yeah.
or helping others through art therapy.
It sounds like he's found a real sense of purpose in his work.
He has.
And that brings us to another important aspect of his story,
Okay.
which is his advice for aspiring artists.
Right.
What words of wisdom did he share?
He offered some great insights,
Okay.
and I think some of them apply to anyone pursuing a creative passion,
Yeah.
not just artists.
Right.
Remember how we talked about him being relentlessly curious?
Yes.
He stressed that aspiring artists should be voracious consumers of information.
Okay, like what kinds of things?
Explore different art styles, analyze films and video games, study nature, listen to music, read books.
Yeah.
Anything that can spark your imagination
Right.
and expand your visual vocabulary.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's about feeding your creative mind with diverse influences.
definitely.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's easy to get overwhelmed with all that information.
Totally. Did he offer any tips on how to stay focused?
He did, and not get bogged down.
Okay.
He emphasized the importance of developing strong fundamental skills.
Right.
He said that while it's tempting to jump straight into learning fancy software or complex techniques, it's crucial to master the basics first.
Okay.
Things like anatomy, perspective, color theory, composition.
Yeah.
These are the building blocks of good art.
Right.
And they'll serve you well no matter what style you choose to pursue.
That's solid advice. It's like learning to walk before you can run.
Exactly.
But even with strong fundamentals, breaking into the concept art world can be intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
Did he have any advice on overcoming those initial hurdles?
He did, and this part really resonated with me.
Okay.
He talked about the importance of embracing failure.
Wow. Okay.
He said that mistakes are inevitable, especially when you're learning something new. The key is to view those setbacks not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth.
That's a powerful mindset shift.
It is.
It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of perfection.
Right.
But it's important to remember that even the most accomplished artists have faced their fair share of challenges and setbacks.
Definitely. And Maxime also stressed the importance of not comparing yourself to others.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right.
Social media can be a double-edged sword.
It can.
It can be inspiring, but it can also fuel those feelings of self-doubt and imposter syndrome.
Totally. And Maxime's advice is to focus on your own journey.
Okay.
And celebrate your own progress.
Right.
He said that everyone learns at their own pace. And it's important to be patient with yourself and enjoy the process.
That's such an important reminder. Comparison can be the thief of joy.
It can.
Especially in creative fields.
Yeah.
So focus on your own path. Celebrate those small wins. And don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes along the way.
That's exactly. Did he have any other advice specifically for building a portfolio?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He did. He actually encouraged aspiring artists to view their portfolio as an ever-evolving body of work.
Okay.
He said it's important to showcase your versatility, your ability to adapt to different styles, and your passion for exploring new ideas.
That makes sense. A portfolio shouldn't be a static collection of your best work.
Right.
It should be a dynamic representation of your creative journey.
Exactly.
Showcasing your growth, your experimentation, and your unique artistic voice.
Exactly. And he also suggested that artists consider creating personal projects that align with their interests and aspirations.
Right.
He said these passion projects can be a great way to explore new ideas, develop new skills, and demonstrate your commitment to the craft.
That's a great advice, and it can be especially helpful when you're just starting out and don't have a lot of professional work to showcase.
Definitely. So find something you're passionate about.
Yeah, right.
Create something amazing and let your enthusiasm shine through.
Absolutely. And speaking of enthusiasm, there was one last piece of advice that Maxime shared that really resonated with me.
Okay, what's that?
He encouraged aspiring artists to never lose sight of the joy and wonder that drew them to art in the first place.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get bogged down in the technical aspects, the business side of things, the pressure to succeed.
Right.
That we sometimes forget why we fell in love with art in the first place.
Exactly. Creating art should be a source of fulfillment, not just a means to an end.
Right.
So find what sparks your joy, nurture that passion, and let it guide your creative journey.
That's such a powerful message, and it's a perfect note to end on.
It is. Yeah. So what can we, the listeners, take away from Maxime's incredible journey?
I think his story is a testament to the power of passion, perseverance, and community.
Yeah.
It shows that it's never too late to pursue your dreams.
Right.
Even if it means taking an unconventional path.
And it highlights the importance of continuous learning.
Yeah.
Embracing failure as a learning opportunity and finding your tribe.
Right.
Those people who will support you, challenge you, and inspire you to grow.
Absolutely. And remember, creativity is a journey, not a destination.
That's a good one.
So enjoy the process, experiment, make mistakes, and never stop exploring.
Well said. If you're interested in seeing more of Maxime's work, be sure to check out the links in the show notes.
Yes, definitely.
And if Maxime's story has sparked something in you, maybe you're considering a career shift, picking up a long-abandoned hobby, or simply looking for ways to inject more creativity into your life.
Right.
We encourage you to share your thoughts with us.
Definitely.
Leave a comment, send us an email, or connect with us on social media.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of concept art.
It was fun.
And the inspiring journey of Maxime Schilde.
Yeah, he's a great inspiration.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.